The Katsina state government says it is rolling out far-reaching interventions to tackle the root causes of multidimensional poverty and reduce the growing number of out-of-school children across the state. Hi. Welcome to What's Happening. These are our top 10 stories countdown today. At number 10, the United States has imposed a 12.5% tariff on imports from Nigeria as part of a new trade measure targeting countries it says have failed to prohibit the importation of goods produced with forced labor. The tariff affects imports from 60 economies that Washington says have not imposed and effectively enforced a prohibition on the importation of goods produced with forced labor. The measure was announced in a statement posted on the website of the Office of the United States Trade Representative. Nigeria is among the countries subject to the 12.5% tariff, while India, Indonesia, Malaysia, Mexico, and the United Kingdom will face a lower 10% rate after adopting or committing to implement bans on imports linked to forced labor. At number 9, Jurgen Klopp has warned that he could work away from his role as Germany head coach if the media fails to respect his family's privacy. The former Liverpool manager made the comment during his first press conference after being appointed Germany's new head coach on a 4-year contract. Klopp, who replaced Julian Nagelsmann following Germany's disappointing World Cup exit, said he loves the job but would not hesitate to leave if his family is affected by unwanted media attention. As reported by BBC Sport on Friday, Klopp was quoted as saying, "If you behave badly and don't leave my family in peace, then I will be gone. I will just turn away." At number 8, ahead of the Monday commencement of the yearly festival, the Olubadan of Ibadan land, Obarashidi Ladoja, has cautioned the Olulu masquerade and its worshippers against violence and other forms of brigandage. The monarch, in a statement by his chief press secretary Solomon Ayoade, cautioned both the masquerade and the worshippers to desist from any act capable of igniting crises in the state. He also called on the law enforcement agents to prevent the breakdown of law and order during the festival by being alive to their responsibility of protecting the lives and property of the people. Oba Ladoja advised the women to stay indoors in some of the areas that the masquerade has been scheduled to visit. He noted that it is forbidden for women to behold the sight of Ololu masquerade. At number 7, the House of Representatives has passed the constitutional alteration bill seeking to establish state police after 311 lawmakers voted in support of the proposal, meeting the constitutionally required 2/3 majority. However, the passage sparked protest from members of the minority caucus who staged a walkout, alleging that due process was not followed during consideration of the bill. The Deputy Speaker, who is the chairman of the House Committee on Constitution Review, Mr. Benjamin Kalu, led the consideration of the report and urged members to support the bill. At number 6, the Nigerian Education Loan Fund has commenced the payment of June and July upkeep allowances to student beneficiaries across the country. The development was confirmed by the National Association of Nigerian Students, while several beneficiaries also shared screenshots on X showing successful payment alerts. In a statement released on Friday, NAN's National President Akinteye Babatunde announced that the disbursement had begun, assuring students that all outstanding backlogs would be cleared. The announcement comes amid weeks of complaints from students over delays in the payment of monthly upkeep allowances under the federal government student loan scheme. Before and after the announcement, several students have taken to X to post screenshots of credit alerts confirming receipt of their June and July allowances. At number 5, barely 23 days after its commissioning, a section of the newly constructed flyover at the Lawmakers area of Osogbo, Osun State, has sunk, raising safety concerns among residents and motorists. The flyover was inaugurated on July 1st, 2026 by Governor Ademola Adeleke. The incident occurred in the early hours of Friday following rainfall in Osogbo, the state capital. The affected portion of the bridge developed a noticeable depression, prompting road users to divert to alternative routes. A visit to the scene revealed visible cracks and a sunken asphalt surface on one lane of the bridge, forcing motorists to slow down while navigating the damaged stretch. At number 4, the Supreme Court has affirmed the June 18th judgment of the Court of Appeal Abuja, upholding the nomination of Governor Abiodun Oyebanji as the candidate of the All Progressives Congress in the June 20th governorship election in Ekiti State. A 5-member panel of the Apex Court held in a unanimous judgment judgment on Friday that the appeal filed by an aggrieved governorship aspirant of APC, Mrs. Abimbola Alawumi, was unmeritorious and proceeded to dismiss it. In its judgment on Friday, the Supreme Court, among others, faltered the competence of the appeal filed by Mrs. Olawumi and concluded that the reliefs she sought could not be granted. At number 3, the organized private sector of Nigeria has expressed deep concern over the recent announcement by the Director General of the National Pension Commission regarding a proposed increase in mandatory pension contributions and the introduction of an additional 3% mandatory annual contribution equivalent to 3% of the total wage bill. The OPSN members include the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, the National Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, the Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, the Nigerian Association of Small and Medium Enterprises, the Nigerian Association of Small-Scale Industrialists, and 25 sectoral employer associations. At number 2, one person has died and others were wounded following an early morning multiple car crash along the Kara Bridge in Wadmowe Ibafo on the Lagos to Ibadan Expressway, which left hundreds of motorists stranded and grounded economic activities. While giving details about the incident, the FRSC Lagos Sector Command said the first crash occurred about 12:05 a.m. on the outbound carriageway towards Ibadan, involving 5 articulated trucks and 1 Toyota Sienna vehicle. According to her, as the rescue and recovery operations were ongoing, another crash occurred at about 3:15 a.m. on the inbound carriageway towards Lagos, involving a Mazda commercial bus. At number 1, the Katsina State government says it is rolling out far-reaching interventions to tackle the root causes of multi-dimensional poverty and reduce the growing number of out-of-school children across the state. The Katsina State Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education, Yusuf Jibia, disclosed this during an exclusive interview with Channels Television on Friday at his office in the state secretariat. Jibia identified multi-dimensional poverty as one of the major drivers of the out-of-school children challenge, noting that the problem extends beyond Katsina to the entire northwest region of Nigeria and many parts of Africa. That's all for today. See you next time on What's Happening.